Welcome in to another episode of the My Two Bits Gators Football Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Ben, joined as always by your other host, Mr. Randy. Randy, how you feeling tonight? How's the vibe up in Gaines, Vegas? Are things popping? Is it exciting or is it just another week?
It's another week. It's palpable. There's rumors of visits. There's rumors of a plane trip. There's rumors of a house being sold. Who knows, man? It's a wild, wild southeast instead of the wild, wild west. But just happy to get. I don't know. Obviously, last Saturday night was frustrating, but at least happy for the Gators to bounce back in some way, shape, or form. Have some semblance of a competent, coherent, competitive team. And outside of that, we look forward to Tennessee, my man.
Yes, yes. Tennessee in November. It's weird. It's weird
It is
things that are
weird.
happening. Um, but we are looking forward to it for sure. Definitely cool to have a couple of rivalry games at home here to finish back to back. Again, weird to play Tennessee then Florida State. That feels all kinds of wrong, but
Yep.
we're going to do it. So we're going to see. We're going to see what happens. So we'll get into it here. Get things started as always with our analysis breakdowns here during the season with our intro, our mission, our accuracy disclaimer, our vision, and our agenda. Our mission is always to provide factual analysis of all things Florida Gator football. Our accuracy disclaimer is that our information will be accurate to the best of our possible ability. We will cite our sources whenever we use them, and all statistical data comes from either ESPN or stats.ncaa.org. And our recruiting data comes from on3.com. Our vision is to have unfiltered conversation around the product on the field, as well as recruiting and overall coaching decisions. And our analysis will be based on review of film. And while we will express opinion, that opinion should always be based in some form of fact. We will also evaluate strategy and tactics and discuss our observation of player personnel decisions, as well as on the field execution. All right. As always, our agenda for the evening, we'll start off with our exciting plays from the game. Nice to have some this week with the Oh My section. We will then break down the offense in the Chomp segment, the defense in Gator Bait, talk about our complaints from the game in the Visor Throws segment, and then we will break down recruiting in the Hatchling segment. We do have some things that are bubbling there. Still no big developments, but it's coming. And then talk about culture and Pride of the Sunshine. Then officiating and move back, you suck. And then wrap things up with the overall state of things, how the team is doing, kind of look forward to what's left of the season here in these last two games, and play a little keep it or pitch it for this week's game with Tennessee. There will not be a Sims review tonight. I was unable to run them, unfortunately. I'll discuss that more when we get there, but from there we will wrap it up and sign off. So with that, let's get things started with the home eyes. What's your exciting plays from Saturday night, my friend?
Yeah, man, and you're correct. It is neat to have more than three plays skirt out the home my section, since we limit that to three. So I did have I think five to go through, and so here are my top three home my's. First one I'm going to give to Jaden Woods.
Yes, sir.
Great play. I'm going to call this the drop back coverage INT. Outstretched hands, oh so soft, oh so smooth to secure that ball for the pick. So that's the first thing. Well, I guess the first would be the reaction time from dropping back to turning to locating the football, because clearly Chambliss didn't see him. So that's first thing.
No.
The second thing, soft and smooth hands. The third thing, yak. Returned
Yes.
it almost 25 yards, put us in really good field position, and that set ball up for the 2 yard rush. Now, sidebar, did you notice who was blocking for ball on that run?
Yes, Aaron Childs.
Aaron Childs, a linebacker, blocking for Jaden Ball. Loved it.
Are you
Love
are you
seeing it.
sneaking two into one here? Is that what you're doing?
Nope. Nope. Just saying. Sidebar. Just saying. Just saying. Number two on the home eyes, Lagway, 57 yards, as I would call it, the pitch and catch to J. Michael Sturdivant for touchdown. So a couple things here. Love the move, right? A deep slant slash go. And what really made this work to me is the plays before that set it up with the short yardage run. And then, of course, the main thing was the way that we set up. It was play action, brought the safeties up, and guess what? It was go time, and boy, did he go. And what a beautiful ball. That ball was so beautiful. That's what we were used to seeing last season, wasn't it, B?
Yep, absolutely.
I tell you, it was beautiful. In stride, Sturdivant did not have to look back, reach back, stretch out, speed up for it, slow down for it. In stride, winner, winner, chicken dinner for 7. And then my last home eye has to go to, like you said, we mention him every week, making plays, doing something, a stiff arm or whatever. But with less than 130 to go in the first half, a massive, massive catch by Jaden Ball. Ball across the middle. His
Mm.
hands go up. He's like a Hoover back vacuum. He sucked this ball in. Probably should have been an incompletion. Not sure how he caught it, but he caught it. Massive first down leads to that and leads to a 38-yard field goal. We got 3 on the board just before the half. Huge play to get us 3 more points, which obviously, as we talked about, this team has been lacking in trying to score before the half, especially when we do not get the football coming out of halftime. Those 3 are my home eyes, B. What do you got?
So I love that call out on the ball catch. A lot of people probably maybe even missed that one watching the game live. I wasn't really a replay of that, I don't think. Go back and watch that if you
No,
get
no
the
replay.
opportunity. Go find like the extended game, like recap or whatever on YouTube. It'll take you 15 minutes to watch it, and just go right around that first
Yes.
half so you get to see that catch. That is a good catch for a wide receiver to make, except this is a running back. Running backs don't make those kind of catches. He's out there running a slant route, which why, but we'll get to that later. I'll cover that one in a different part of the segment here, but that's neither here nor there. He's out there running a slant route as a running back and makes a phenomenal catch for any player who's out there catching the ball. Doesn't matter what position you are, but the fact that he's a running back and doing that and having those kind of hands, I mean, you got to be kidding me, man. Great call out on that. I don't have that one. The other
Well,
two I
well,
do
well,
have.
well, B, I will tell you, remember in high school what he played, right? Oh,
What's
yeah.
that?
Remember in high school the positions he played, right?
Linebacker and running back, I believe.
Linebacker, running back, quarterback, tailback, punt return, defense. Yeah, yeah. He played a few
He did
positions,
play a lot of stuff. That's true. He did play those other ones too. Yeah, right. Yep, yep, for sure. Yeah, he
mind
can
you.
kind of do it all for sure.
He can kind of do it
He's
all.
pretty impressive kid.
Yeah, just call him
So
MacGyver.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Great call out on that though. I love that. All right, so the one that I have that you don't is the first bomb that Lagway threw in this game to Abrams, which
Abrams.
is
Yeah.
late in the first quarter, 47-yard pass. Um, it, this was the first Lagway throw of 2 that we'll get to that we've been waiting for, right? Play action. And the thing about this that actually is the reason I put it on here is Lagway climbed the pocket on this throw. And that is something we have basically not seen him do the entire season. He has not been climbing the pocket. This was something he excelled at last year when he got pressure from the edges, even if it wasn't really on top of him, like it wasn't on this play. It was just condensing a little, right? His guys are holding, but they're condensing a little. He would climb the pocket. This was one of the best throws he had last season against LSU to Badger. He climbed the pocket and hit an absolute, just disgustingly good throw that Badger caught on like the 2-yard line and of course got tackled for no touchdown. But it was one of his best throws of the whole season, in my opinion. And that's what this kind of reminded me of. Not that throw to Badger was better, but this throw was like that because he climbs up in the pocket and then just not something we've seen from him this year. But then he has solid footwork, also something that's been lacking, right? And delivers a great throw downfield to TJ in stride, right? TJ did have to slow his pace just a hair, which probably prevented this from being a touchdown. But it wasn't like he had to like slow down significantly or let the defender catch up, right? The defender takes a good angle once he catches the ball and is able to tackle him. And yes, TJ had to slow down just a pinch, but it wasn't that much. So really a very, very, very good throw and one of a very few that we have seen from DJ downfield to that kind of, yardage extent this season. And we got to have more of him to close the year out, right? For his confidence, for moving forward, for all the things we need, right? To be able to put this year behind him, as Lagway kind of said he wanted to do in the presser, right? Been a struggle of a year for him for sure. And I understand it. I'm sure it has been. This would be a great way to close this out and kind of put this thing in the rear view, right? If we can have some more stuff like that. So that's my first one. Second one, same as you, Jaden Woods, INT. What an athletic play by the freshman DE here. And that is correct. This is a defensive lineman, right, that went back to your point and made a jumping interception. And that was a great catch of a very crisply thrown ball by Chambliss, by the way. And then a solid return, as you pointed out, to set up the second TD of the game. I do think it's worth noting that this was a simulated pressure scheme that Roberts drew up here, something that I have given him a lot of grief about, right, on this podcast. However, this is the example where the simulated pressure concept makes sense. This is where you want to drop the defensive lineman into coverage, into the shallow center field, right there, about 5 to 7 yards deep, and look for stuff right in that middle of the field area where they don't, or all they have to do is kind of drop back and hang out, right? Like a linebacker would in that situation. That's what you want to do. Some of the other stuff we do with this doesn't make any sense. We'll talk about that more later. So that was absolutely a great play. Really great athletic prowess on display from Woods. Love this kid. Continues to put great stuff on film. And the fact that it's only his first year as a true freshman wearing orange and blue, really hope we get to continue to see him in it and do great stuff. So that's that's definitely the hope. So last but not least, DJ's second bomb of the night, that 57-yarder to Sturdivant. So, as you mentioned, this one was an absolute dime. This was an even better ball than the one he threw to TJ for two reasons. First off, he hits Jamichael fully in stride. He does not have to slow down one iota, and that allowed him to stay in front of the defender and hit the pay dirt for the score, right? He was not able to be tackled, and that's what allowed him to keep that. The second one is because of the route. So you mentioned it. I'm going to call this kind of more of a deep angle route across the field because he's running a little more cross. It may have started off as more of a post, but the way that he was coming across, it was more like a deep drag. And that's what I could see from the film I had. I don't really know. We don't have the all 22. It's hard to tell, right? So, but the accuracy and placement of this ball is amazing because when you look at what he threw to Abrams, that's just a go route, right? All he has to get right there is the distance, right? The accuracy is you just throw it at the guy. He's running straight, not Sturdivant. Sturdivant is running down and away diagonally on this route. So he's got to not only get the distance, but the accuracy of left to right in this ball, or right to left, I guess is the correct orientation there, as well. And he nails it. Those are the throws, as you mentioned, from last year that we were accustomed to seeing. Got to have more of them. Got to see more of them. I want to see more of them. Please, please, please. Because they've got to give him some confidence back that he made this throw and the one to TJ as well, but especially this one, because we just haven't seen him complete those kind of throws, especially that one. Really, I would argue that's the first throw of that caliber that he's completed this entire season. I would make that argument, quite frankly. He hasn't made a throw that good downfield all year. He's made some downfield throws, but none of them has been as good as that one. If you go back and look, all of them have basically just been on straight go routes. And that's not the same as what he hit Jamichael with on that. So those are my oh my's and the reasons as such. So with that, we'll get into the offense here. As always, start with our numbers here. Lagway's NFL quarterback rating, 71.71. So not terrific. Again, anything over 100 is good. So that's not that good. However, if we just took his first half stats before things kind of crumbled in the second half, it would have been a 103.8 just for perspective. So things were clicking right along and he was looking pretty darn good. And then the second half happened where things didn't look as good, right? So just for perspective, we're not saying that's what it was. It was a 71-71, but we just felt we should add some context there. Yards per carry, 4.3 yards per carry. This is good. We've had way too many gains under 4 yards per carry. This was nice to see that number get up over 4. Very solid, and that included the 1 sack on DJ. We did leave that in because obviously he rushed effectively in this game. So, as I mentioned, that rating for DJ was driven down by that lack of effectiveness in the second half and the late INT as well. saw some posts get made on some stuff, and I feel like I'm talking a lot about social media lately on the pod. Maybe I shouldn't be as much, but I guess I'll just say I saw some things about that second half INT and kind of a here we go again thing. I'm sorry, folks. That is not DJ's fault. Many of the picks this year have been DJ's fault, and I will absolutely say that he has been off and made bad throws and made bad decisions. And I'm sitting here going, what are you doing, kid? Last week at Kentucky, those were all on him. Those were garbage passes. They either were bad decisions, bad throws, or both. This was none of the above. He
Yep,
had
agreed.
Mizell open. He tried to sidearm it around the defender and would have successfully done so if the defender did not manage to get his hand out and tip that ball. That is a tip drill. It happens. Things just go that way sometimes. Those are those picks that you just can't do anything about. Giving him a hard time for that particular interception, no. You can't just get mad because he has 12 others that are bad when the 13th is not his fault. Not okay. That's an unfair blame share. Not something we're going to do here. There was nothing wrong with that throw. It was the right decision and a good ball. It just got tipped. Things happen. So I felt I needed to call that out. O-line. O-line was better in this game than many games this season. Run blocking was a bit suspect. At times it was fine. At other times it was not fine. Very good job by Ole Miss in keying in on the run game and knowing that it kind of predicated the pass for us. And I think they did a very good job, even though we didn't necessarily show our hand as to when we were going to run. They really keyed in on that and did do a good job stopping it. And frankly, our O-line didn't run block as well as they needed to. So that was the shortfall. But pass blocking was very good in this game. DJ was pressured very little by a good D-line. One, Princely Umamlielen, if that name rings a bell, is on this team. And he did almost nothing this entire game. He barely even got pressure. He had one either sack or tackle for loss. I don't remember if he's the one who got the sack. But he had one decent play basically of note in this game. And that's it.
Right.
Kind of
Yep,
like
the
when he
only
played.
sack. That's it.
Yeah, kind of like when he played for Florida. So yeah, he was unimpressive to say the least. So very, very good job by Barber, and it was mostly Caden Jones on the other side playing against him. They did a nice job locking him up no matter which side of the line he was playing on. Really well done. Actually, quite a bit better than we did against him last year, where he lived in the backfield against us. So interesting stuff. Play calling. Talk about it every week. Gonna keep talking about it. Continues to be frustrating as we do things well at times, and then we get conservative or predictable at others. I think just the lack of experience from O'Hara in doing this is showing. And it continues to just frustrate me to no end that we still use so much of Napier's playbook. I know I've already talked about this, but I'm going to bring up a specific example here. Multiple times in this game, more so than in any other game that I can recall, we ran a 5 wide, I'll call it in quotes, formation. So we had 5 receivers, again in quotes, set up in the formation. However, we insist on doing this with one of those receivers being a running back. That's what I was talking about earlier with why is Jaden Ball running a slant route, and a tight end. Why can't you just put 4 or God forbid even 5 wide receivers out there in the formation? Where's the harm? Spoiler alert, there isn't any, and it would actually help you by making your offense more dynamic and harder to defend. Why don't you just look across to the other side of the field and watch where they do it all the time? It's not that hard. It's really not that complicated, and it would make us so much better. We line up in the set. Why don't we do it with 4 or 5 wide receivers? Why? It makes no sense. You're not keeping a tight end in there to block. You think Hayden Hansen's out there running effective routes? Let me assure you he's not. It's dumb. Nor catching the ball well in a lot of cases. It's dumb. Stop doing it. Just if you want to run 5 wide, run 5 wide. Don't run this faux 5 wide thing that we keep doing over and over again. And we've done it the whole time Napier's been there, for the record. Whenever we've had 5 wide receivers, quote unquote, it's still 11 personnel. Run it with 10, or better yet, 00. Just do it. Stop screwing around and do it. Okay, final note. Last week, we mentioned that we only had 4 explosive plays. And by how we define explosives, meaning 15 on rushing and 20 yards on passing, we had one. One explosive. That is terrible. This week, we had 8 by what I guess you'd call the standard criteria. And by our criteria, 15 and 20, we had 5.
Mm-hmm.
So much better, much improved. Still not as many as we'd like to see. We always want to see at least 6 or 7 by our criteria at a minimum, preferably more, but at least 6 or 7. But again, at least it was an improvement. For reference, by our criteria, Ole Miss had 6. Might surprise
Yeah,
you. They only had 6, not that many. However, if you use the 15 and 10 criteria, they had 16. So they
unfortunately.
had double what we had in that regard if you use that other criteria. But again, that's not what we use as our explosives. And really it's become more of an industry standard to use the 15 and 20 rather than the 10 and 15. That's why we use it. It just happens to be the site I looked to it for defines it as the 10 and 15. So at any rate, that's how I came across those stats. So I wanted to share that because I thought it was relevant. Again, 5 and 6, that's pretty equal. That's really not blowing the doors off. But if you remember when we started talking about this stuff a lot at the end of last year, we were talking about 7, 8, 9 explosives even that we were potentially having during games. And we're talking about by the 15 and 20 yard margins. So,
Mm-hmm.
and this was with Napier calling plays. So it's still a different vibe that this team has offensively, and we're still just not getting over that hump. So that was a lot on offense, but I wanted to break that all down. I'll turn it over to you. What you got, my man?
Awesome. Thanks for breaking that. No, it's good. Very good. Yeah, it's funny when you look at the criteria on explosives because at one point I'm like, holy smokes, Ole Miss is going to have over 20 explosives. What in the Sam Hill? Um, but anyways, no, good deal. Good deal. I liked it. I'm going to break it down this way. So Lagway, 16 of 31, 218 yards. 16 of 31, 51.6%. Compared
Yeah,
to
not
last
great.
week, no, compared to last week, 11 of 19, 57.9%. 218 yards, much improved. Last week, 83 yards. Last week, 1 touchdown, 3 INTs, 0 sacks. This week, 1 touchdown, 1 INT, 1 sack. As you mentioned, the 1 sack. Unfortunately, I hated giving it up to Princely Umami Yellen, but it was what it was. Bah humbug. Um, Oddly enough, DJ ran for a touchdown. He had a rushing touchdown. We
Yeah.
don't say that often. Do you know why?
I don't know that we've said it ever.
Yes, because it was his first career rushing touchdown.
There you go.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Yep.
So there's that. Scored 7 points versus Kentucky a week ago. Put that in perspective. Basketball school. Yeah. Stoops, Kroger Field, whatever. Okay. And now we put up 24 points and 326 yards of offense, albeit we needed more. I understand that. Against a much better team. So playing
Absolutely.
fair competition, I don't know. Kind of hold the whole USF thing. I don't
I don't
know.
know. Maybe.
Just
I
saying.
don't know.
Because look at how we played Georgia. Look at how we played Ole Miss. Albeit we know we
Yeah.
missed opportunities. Still, playing to your competition, is that a thing for us? Okay, there's that.
There an argument can be made for sure. And it is interesting because if you look, we have had so many big games this year, right? I mean, this was our 5th game against the top 10 team, at least
Top
when
10.
we
Yep.
played them. When we played them, they're not all still top 10, but still, when we played them, 5th game against the top 10 team, and I think 4 of them are still top 10. At least 3 are. I'd have to check the 4th one. No, it's only 3. But still, it's pretty amazing. Anyway, continue.
It is. It is, right? So, anyways, here's the rundown. 14 first downs. Seems kind of pitiful, especially when Ole Miss had 27. 108 net
Yeah.
rushing yards, 218 yet passing for 326 total yards. We needed about 50 to 100 more. Whatever, I digress. Penalties. I want to call this out real quick. 5 penalties, 35 yards.
Yep. Pretty clean.
Especially when 2 of those penalties took place as a result of illegal substitution on the defense. We'll get to that later. And an offside penalty. So of again, Florida, top 30 teams in the nation in penalties, leading. Okay, least amount of penalties in FBS, top 30. Interesting. Not as many procedural penalties since the exit of Billy Napes. Interesting. Just throw that out there. Um, Time of possession. Ugh, 22 minutes and 3 seconds. Folks, Ole Miss averages 26, 27 minutes of possession a game, and they
Yeah.
held the ball for 37, almost 38 minutes.
Yeah, that's wild. How
Okay.
many plays? 88, 87, something like that.
Yeah. Unbelievable. They're at 84 to our 57.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Unreal. Unreal.
Now, the first quarter, not that much of a discrepancy. The fourth quarter, not much of a discrepancy. The second quarter, the TOP was 4 minutes 38 to 10:22. And in the third quarter, 3:33 to 11:27.
Jeez.
Yikes.
It's actually 58 to 87 because there are a couple team snaps in there that you probably don't have if you're just counting plays, but it's 58 to 87.
Yeah, okay, yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Wild.
Completely wild.
And that's per Gator country, by the way, just to cite the source.
There you go. So you got Gator Country, I've got ESPN. Awesome. Jaden Ball, 15 carries, 61 yards, a tutty. His long was 17, averaging 4.1 and change a carry. Jaden Ball continues to be a staple. DJ Lagway, I get to call him out on the rushing side of the football. 36-yard gain, or 36 yards gain total. Net 34, lost 2 yards, and a long of 13. Hey, oh my goodness. So there's that. TJ Abrams, what a bright spot. You know what, B, you and I talked about TJ before. He's got good hands, he's got good speed, obviously, but to put it together in a game like this, okay, 4 targets, 3 receptions, 76 yards with that long of the 47. J. Michael Sturdivant, 2 receptions, 62 yards, the tutty, and the long of 57. That was great. Okay. Tony Livingston, 1 target, 1 reception, 38 yards.
Yeah.
Conversely, Hayden Hansen, 5 targets, 2 receptions, 5 yards.
Yeah. We need to stop that right now.
WTF?
Love Hayden to
Why?
death. We need to stop that right now.
I'm telling you, can't do it. Okay. So there's that. Time of possession was huge. The bookends of quarters, as I call it, the first and fourth. Okay. Really tough for
Yep.
Florida. The offense just more was left to be desired. Period. Here's another stat for you: 223 yards of offense in the first half, but 103 in the second half. Okay,
Yeah,
and
it's killer.
another game being shut out in the second half. Be kind of getting fed up of that as well.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
Okay, I agree with you. O line better in pass blocking, not as good in run blocking. I felt like Ball should have had another 15 to 18, 15 to 20 yards easy with some of the coverages that Ole Miss had, but I digress. It was what it was. A bounce
Yeah.
back for the offense, a bounce back for a lot of different things in rhythm and timing. I like what you're saying about the play calling. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's the old book. It's the same book that it was. It might be disguised a little bit differently. There might not be as much, well, there definitely is not as much pre-snap motion, but at the end of the day, some of the similar things. My hope is that DJ saw we saw progression from him in this game. He got some confidence. He felt back to his old ways. He felt his footwork. He felt his arm. He felt in rhythm. He felt all those things. And that can translate into another good week to get ready for this Saturday. That's all I got on offense, B.
Yeah, I like it, man. No, it's a nice breakdown. Like some of the stats call out there for sure. One thing real quick, because I don't have it in visor throw. I mentioned this and said I was going to have to confirm it, and you confirmed it because I didn't go back and watch for this,
Oh,
but you confirmed it with your targets because I know where the incomplete was, and it was in the first half. Abrams did not have a target in the second half. And that is criminal when you got your leading receiver for the game get all of his
yeah.
targets and receptions in the first half. That's ridiculous. I mean, again, it just goes back to the play calling and the inconsistencies and the lack of it's like, oh, hey, this is working. Well, let's get away from that now. That's that's bad news if it's working. It's like,
right?
what are you doing? Like, Jesus, come on, man. You, give me a break. It's just so silly, right? Whatever makes sense, let's make sure we avoid that at all costs. It's just mind numbing,
Exactly.
man. Absolutely mind numbing. So, that's the kind of stuff that really just irks me to no end. And I can't wait for whatever comes next that it just feels like it has to be better than that. Whether it's Kiffin or not, it's got to be better than that. So anyway, we'll
Yeah,
move on. Let's get into defense. Break it down for us. What are we looking at?
absolutely. All right, on the defense side of football, Trinidad Chambliss, 97.56 QBR. Yeah.
Surprising.
Um,
Surprising though, because you thought by how he played that he'd have been over 100.
you'd think that, but then of course we know how much INTs count against the QB. So there's that. And of course, the completion percentage, well, actually, his percentage was fairly high, 26 of 35 for
Yep.
74%. So fair there.
And a,
Um,
and a high yards per attempt too. So I'm actually surprised that number's not higher. I think what actually did it is, to your point, the INT and the only one touchdown. I think
and the
that's what
one
hurt him.
touchdown.
Yep.
Yep. One INT, one TD. Um, 5.24 yards per carry. I'll get into that here in just a second. Team yardage, right? Modified. And of course, sack yardage in, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Team
So
yardage, team yardage out, sack yardage in.
or out, correct, out sack yardage. So as I mentioned before, Ole Miss 27 first downs.
Phew, jeez. Killer.
WTFD. Why the first downs? Okay, so there you go. Net yards rushing 237. Bite me. Net yards passing 301. Will it ever stop? Total
Yeah.
offensive yards 538.
Yeah.
Schnikes.
By far the
Um,
most we've given up all season.
all season. Penalties, Ole Miss has about seven and change penalties a game. They only had four for 32 yards. That was what it was. But then again, the main thing that, again, from Ole Miss, their hurry up, they're fast, they have explosives. They average almost 10 more minutes a game in this game than they have been all season. Whoops, didn't expect that. So you've
No,
got
did
that.
not.
Keywan Lacey, 31 carries, 224 yards, three touchdowns, and a partridge in a pear tree. His long was 59, the breaking run. He averaged 7.2 yards a carry. What in the Sam Hill? And then, of course, Chambliss backed that up with 11 attempts for 32 yards. He did have some losses on his, and at the end of the day, ended up with about uh, 10 net yards, but that was because of kneel downs and all the other stuff in there. And the one thing I will say about that as well is we got to him at least
Yeah.
5 times.
That's phenomenal.
5 sacks. That is absolutely phenomenal for someone as mobile and nimble, as creative as he is. Um,
Yeah.
and then
Best job we've done bottling up a mobile quarterback all season by far.
oh, undoubtedly, B, undoubtedly, absolutely correct. Um, his main receiver, Stribling, 4 receptions, 76 yards, a touchdown, a long and explosive, a mega explosive of 43. You had Wallace, 6 receptions, 68 yards, a long of 22. You had Lee, 4 receptions, 48 yards, a long of 19. Again, like you said, too many, period.
Yep.
Period. The one thing I will say is coming out of the third quarter, of course, Ole Miss gets the football. I love the fact that, again, opening the third quarter, very tough situation, especially when you look at what could have potentially happened on that drive. Ole Miss had the ball for almost 7.5 minutes. They went 73 yards. Amazing first and goal, second and goal, third and goal, fourth and goal stop. Yes, it was a low pass by Chambliss, but the pressure was there, the intensity was there, the effort was there to force that turnover on downs. So, love that come out of the half that we did not give up a quick score because that surely would have sealed the game then and there. Um, I want to call out the two late substitution penalties. When you look at Ole Miss's tempo and you look at their hurry up, that's the last thing you should have been called for. Got called on us
Agreed.
twice. It was
Yep.
what it was. and I thought we would have gotten it fixed after the first one, but we got caught the second one. Ron getting the play call in late. That's fine. Because it's funny. The camera shot. Did you see the camera shoot to Sincere at one point, kind of waving his hands like go 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 go? And
Yep.
so, anyways, that was what it was. Another call out. Jordan Castells leading the team with tackles. Second time leading the team this year. 10 total tackles, 8 solo, 2 assisted. Miles Graham, Miles Graham, Miles Graham, Miles Graham.
Yeah,
9
buddy.
total tackles, 5 solo, 4 assisted. 2 tackles for loss on 6 yards and a sack.
Yeah,
Miles,
man.
my man, our man, continues to be an absolute bright spot on defense. Sharif, 8 tackles. Alfonso Allen, you guys remember he had that stretch a couple of games ago. 8 tackles. Bryce Thornton, 6 tackles. Cameron James, Brendan Bett, Devin Moore, 5 tackles each. Brendan Bett, a big tackle on Chambliss on a scramble.
Yeah, they have it as a
So,
sack on ESPN. I don't know if they do on what you're looking at, but I had it as a sack.
yes, so 7 total tackles for loss, 5 sacks, phenomenal effort, and not to mention one of our highest I can talk tackle totals of the season at 85. Say that 10 times fast. So
Yes, but
phenomenal
when they
job.
run 80, when they run 87 plays, it does make it easier to get a lot more tackles.
Folks, he's not wrong. He's absolutely not wrong. But
But
that's the other thing
still,
too.
but still, that is good. That is a good thing to
Correct.
say.
Correct. And then the last thing I'll say is, this defense is over the past 4 games has not looked like itself compared to where we started the season. They needed a get back game. They needed that bounce back game, right? Very similar to the offense. Went up to Kentucky, laid an egg, right? Go to Oxford, and again, a more competent team, definitely a more skilled team and talented team, but the offense did what they had to do, tried to play complementary football, tried to. The defense did what they had to do, but again, those explosives that just stuck us too much. And of course, this one I haven't visor through, so I'll just do a precursor here. When you look at the offside penalty that was called, look at the play right after the offside penalty, a massive explosive play that
Yep.
led to a touchdown. So
Yeah, I
unforced
kind of I
errors.
kind of have that too. I kind of have that too. It's interesting. Not exactly, but we'll get there. It's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, yeah. A couple of unforced errors, a couple of blown things in the secondary. Because again, some of these receiving, because this secondary has not looked like this all season, right? So especially just to start the season. We know about the injuries and everything else, but it's just
Yeah.
uncanny to see so many receivers with 50 plus, 60 plus yards receiving.
Yeah, the coverage is becoming more and more of a liability as the season goes on, and I do think it does relate from it. I think honestly, I think ever since we lost Dijon,
Yeah.
just for depth, if nothing else, I think the coverage has become more and more of a liability, unfortunately. And it's really shown. And it's too bad because we had something looking pretty good out there coverage wise in those first few games, and it's not looking so hot now, obviously. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
And and that's a
Um,
great call out because guess what? I had on my notes here Dijon's injury, and that has forced Devin to play over a little bit more. It's forced Cormani to play over a little more, and so there's a little bit of a shift there. That
right.
it's almost like last year. Remember when they asked Trquez Bridges to move over
Yeah.
from safety, corner? Very similar there, right? So a lot of that's happened, and then of course the run blocking does not help. Sorry, the run game. The run defense does not help when you're giving up 200 plus
Yeah.
yards of rushing, especially in those chunk plays. So again, a good get back game. We stayed competitive, went to the end, but just could not seal the deal in a 1-score game. That's all I got. B, take it from there, my man.
No, I like it. Good stuff. Nice breakdown. I got a few points to make here, in regards to this, despite the prolific yardage total and decent amount of points on the scoreboard, obviously, as well. Third game, this defense has given up 30 plus.
Yes.
Yeah, only the third game all season. So that's worth noting. It's not like this defense gives up over 30 a lot, right? We really don't. And
No.
this is a team you expect to give up over 32, quite frankly, right? This is for those that don't know, this is top 15 scoring offense in the country, top 5 yards per game offense in the country. So call it total offense.
Oh
they
yeah.
are the top elite of the elite in what you're dealing with here. I mean, they're one of the best that do it, and they're one of the only teams in the SEC, if not the only, that's top 15 and top five in that category. I'd have to look at it to cross check that, but they're one of the very few, and again, they might be the only SEC team that hits both of those marks. So, pretty impressive stuff. In this conference where there's a lot of good defenses out there. So, first and foremost, I want to point out, I made mention of it already, I think, but if not, this might have been before. We gave up a better quarterback rating to a Kentucky quarterback last week, Kentucky freshman quarterback, I believe, last week, than we did to Chambliss this week. That's a joke. That's an
Unreal.
absolute joke. That's disgusting, quite frankly. So there is zero excuse in any planet for why that could have happened. So I'll leave that right there. Having said that, I'm actually pretty pleased with how the defense played in this game, considering the challenge that they were up against. As I mentioned, this is an elite offense. Spoiler alert again. That's why we want Kiffin. And it showed, right? It really showed in this game. There were certainly things we could have done better. You did a great job of calling out a lot of that. Both big runs by Lacey, I'm going to call out here, were actually because of guys in the secondary either taking bad angles or not coming downhill fast enough to make a tackle.
Okay, sure.
Denson could have made a play on the first one that could have stopped that to be about a 15-yard run instead of the 35 or 38 or whatever it was that he got on that huge play in the first I believe it was late in the first half. Or no, I'm sorry, no, that was in the first quarter. Before they got the field goal. We could have cut that yardage more than in half if Denson comes down and makes a tackle, and he could have. He had the angle, he just kind of stood there and like waited for him instead of coming downhill and making a play. Later on the monster one, the 59-yarder, Alfonso Allen just took a terrible angle. He could have had it, and he just took a bad angle, came in, went the wrong, basically, went left when he should have gone right type of thing, and just missed him. And obviously, that's not something he typically does. He makes really good tackles most of the time, and he just took a bad angle on that one, and it let it go to the house, almost to the 1 yard line. So, aside from that, I think we played pretty well up front. We stopped him a lot, right around or near the line of scrimmage. He got a few 5, 6, 7 yarders, but nothing like what we were giving up to Kentucky last week, right? So it was actually much better, and the linebackers continue to do a good job, as they pretty much always do. I did have a few issues, as I mentioned, with some of the concepts we used at times, both in general and specifically. So I will explain. First, I mentioned sim pressures with dropping D linemen. When we drop the D lineman, this is the general thing. When we drop the D lineman into coverage into the middle of the field, 5 to 7 yards, as I already mentioned, as we did with Jaden Woods, I'm good with that. It works, right? It's an appropriate position for those guys to play, whether it's Woods or it's Gums or it's James or it's Sapp even. We don't typically do it with Sapp, which is a good thing. But, even if you want to drop, McLeod or Burrow back there, I'm okay with that. If you're just dropping them straight back 5 to 7 yards and they're playing center field and you're not expecting them to guard anything more than 5 to 7 yards, right? They can't be covering, as we saw in one game where we had Jamari Lyons trying to cover a 15-yard, seam slant. No, no, that can't happen. Right.
Nope.
So it has to be appropriate to what they're trying to cover. There has to be help beyond that 5 to 7 yards and beyond, and we'll call it outside the hashes, right? At a minimum outside the hashes, depending on where they're dropping to. This is where I have the problem. We did it again in this game. We tend to do it with Gums a lot. We'll drop Gums out and we'll have him try to cover the sideline. Yes, that's right. The sideline from the defensive edge position. He's going to drop back in a sim pressure and get all the way to the sideline to cover a receiver who's running from the boundary, and you're trying to get him to cover a 10-yard out route. There's no chance. Gums is incredibly athletic. He ain't getting there. He ain't going to get there. There's no way, no how. and the quarterback identifies that quickly because the corner's already playing 10 yards off. And then as soon as he sees him bail, that's an instant throw. If he knows that's a 10-yard out route and that corner bails and he's already playing 10 to 12 yards off, that is an instant, yep, I'm throwing the ball. Because there's nothing to stop him. Because even if we're playing that pressure, he cannot get there fast enough, and the quarterback knows it. And we've been burnt by it like 10 times this year. And we keep getting burnt by it, and we keep calling it. Stop calling it, Ron. It is bad coverage. It is a bad concept. It does not work. Stop doing it. It's giving teams easy first downs. It's stupid. We need to stop doing it. So that's the first one. The second one that is specific to this game and specific to a situation. It's not only specific to this game. It's the nickel blitzes, specifically with Denson. Not that we call them. I don't mind them. They actually work some of the time. But in some of the formations we call them against, particularly in this game, I don't want to see a nickel blitz against a 4 or especially 5 wide receiver set. Don't do that. Especially when it doesn't get home, though I know we don't always know that. I understand that's not the plan. But this happened twice in this game. Once on 4th down early, and both times when we did it, it was against 5 wide receiver sets, and both times there were wide open receivers because it's very hard to cover 5 guys when you only have 5 corners, right, in a nickel set, and you take one of them and blitz them. Then you're relying on a linebacker and safeties, which safeties are 2 of your corners anyway in that situation, but you're relying on them to come up and cover wide receivers near the line of scrimmage. Good luck with that. It's not going to work out. Doesn't make sense. These are not good ideas. Again, all for a nickel blitz, let's call it against a 3 wide receiver set, or maybe a 4 bunch on the opposite side of the field or something, right? Like, let's not be doing it against 5 wide.
Yeah, look
not
at the
a good plan.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good plan. We did it twice in this game. Bad call, Ron. Bad call. You got to adjust to what the offense is showing you pre-snap, just like they got to adjust to what you're showing them pre-snap. It's a chess match, and we didn't do some things right in this game. It does kind of feel like Ron does have a little bit of that, hey, I'm going to call what I'm going to call type of mentality, and it's a little Napier-esque at times, unfortunately. I got to say, I think his designs and most of his stuff is better than that in general, but like he does kind of have that mentality sometimes of, hey, this is the play call. This is what we're going to do. And I don't love that because sometimes you have to audible. Defenses have to audible just like offenses have to audible. Sometimes it's what you got to do. And we don't seem to do that very well at times. So last things I want to say here are call out some players like you did. I want to mention Robinson, Moore, and Allen for really good games here. We obviously already talked about Graham on Saturday. Robinson had 1.5 sacks. Not a huge tackle total, but a sack and a half from the linebacker position. That's not easy to do in a game.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive stuff. So I wanted to make sure to call that out. Devin, not a huge night in the stat sheet, but again, just really good coverage throughout this game. Continued to just play very, very good in coverage whenever he was on a man. He did have a pass defended that I don't think he got credit for, maybe because they called the ball uncatchable or whatever, but he had a great pass defended on that 4th down against the tight end that they didn't catch the touchdown on, and we got the ball back at the end of the game there. That was more in coverage. He didn't show up with a pass defended on the stat sheet. I think he should have had one, but anyway, it is what it is. And then last but not least, you mentioned it, Allen. The guy had, I think you said 8 tackles. I saw 7 on my sheet. Okay. He had 7 tackles or 8, whichever it was. He only played 40 snaps in the game. He didn't even play half the snaps and got 7 or 8 tackles, whichever one it was. That's incredible, including one that knocked Lacey out of the game. Lacey's a guy that plays every snap in every game. Yeah. Like he has an unlimited motor. And he knocked him out for like 3 snaps. He hit him so hard. He was like, I got to go to the sideline, coach. Allen knocked the crap out of him. This dude hits like Keanu Neal out there, man. I love this kid. He is an absolute juggernaut in the run game. Now, don't ask him to pass cover because it's not ugly. But but man, give me that dude in run support all day long. I love watching it. It's such a throwback, man. Even with the big shoulder pads, it's just a throwback to like the 90s, and he's out there hitting people like Ronnie Lott, man. It's ridiculous. I love it. Good stuff. All right. Moving on. That's a wrap on defense. Let's go on to visor throw. I got a little different take on visor throw tonight. Uh, I'm kind of going more big picture with this than I am just holding it to this game. This first one, I say that this one is about the game, but it's more big picture of the game. So, man, how about bad luck for a visor throw in this game? This was one of the more unlucky games I can recall in recent memory for Florida in just in a long time. So examples are fourth down pass batted down, but comes right back to Chambliss and he runs for a first down. That should have been our ball, but they got a first down. Like, really? Really? We bat the pass down and the quarterback gets it right back and goes for a first down running? Come on, man. Like, what a terrible break. Lacey fumbles the ball, but they managed to recover despite 3 or 4 Gators being right around the ball. Yet they get it back. Like, man, seriously? Like, that tough break in that situation. How about the 4th and 9 at the end of the game where we throw it deep, unadvisedly in my call, and the ball gets tipped by the corner, and Sturdivant almost is able to catch it, but he can't come down with it. Can't come down with it. Another bad break. And then there is a penalty that is called on that same drive before that play where the flag is picked up. And I don't know if that one's really bad luck or not. We'll get to that later. But ultimately, any of those breaks, any of those 4 breaks, just one of them go your way in this game. And how much different does this look? Because remember, this is a 3-point game until a garbage time touchdown at the end from the 2-yard line, right? That they get because we turn it over on downs. This is a 3-point game, right? This is a very close, very contested game right up until the end. How does this look different if any one of those goes our way? I don't know. I'm not saying we win. I'm just saying, just give me one. Give me one. So I just very frustrating in that regard. And that's not anybody's fault, but it's my gripe from this game because just couldn't get anything to go our way. It was tough. All right. Second visor throw. This team, I think this team's allergic to momentum, Randy. I really do. There has been a theme under this staff that when we get momentum, we just don't capitalize on it. And this goes back, I believe, to not having that killer instinct, right? We also, for the record, do not do a good job at flipping momentum when we have the opportunity to do so, as in we don't take it back from the other team when they give us the opportunity, right? So an example of that is I'll use the drive in the 3rd quarter after the goal line stop as the example, right? The goal line stop is a big opportunity to flip momentum, right? And we do in terms of, hey, we get out of the shadow of our own goalpost with that great pass to Livingston, 38-yard game. But then we go 3 and out from there and punt. And after about a minute and a half of possession, we give the ball right back to their team and a very tired defense for us. Right? Now, granted, we stopped them and got the ball back, but then we gave the ball right back again, and we just did not capitalize, right? And ultimately, it did end up leading to that big run from Lacey shortly thereafter. Then, as you already alluded to, there are the ill-timed procedural penalties that we have seen over the years of this staff that stall things out for us or propel things for the other team at seemingly the exact wrong time every time. It's just always something right when we don't need it. It's like, yes, we got, no. Yes, we got that. Oh, no, we didn't. Every time. It's mind numbing. And it's like we could even be having a game where we don't have a lot of penalties, but be darn sure we're going to get one at the wrong moment, as you mentioned with that offside call. It's just incredible. It's just incredible every time. I will say one positive from a play calling standpoint with this interim group, they're at least a little better at trying to go after it a little bit, right? They try, at least seemingly, to go for it a little more, right? A little hurry up QB sneak on 3rd and 1. Hey, that was neat, right? Just things to try to keep things going a little. Certainly better than Napier did. But that's kind of like saying quantum physics is difficult to comprehend. So with that, I will leave it to you. What do you got for visor throw, my friend?
Very nice. I've got a different take, a lot of the same, but I'll just sum it up in some bullet points as quickly as I can. Yes, first one, Sap lining up offside, caused a replay of the down, and then Shambles completes a 43-yard touchdown pass to put Ole Miss up 17-14. Okay, I'll call this out in the "Move Back You Suck" segment, but from what I saw in my film review in replaying the game, Sap was lined up offside about 3 different times. He only called it once. Okay, and that
Yep.
one hurt the most. Well
Yep.
said. The next thing, the fourth down pass batted back. Hey,
Yep.
B, great call out. It's
Yep.
not just batted back, but it's batted back, and he completes an amazing first down run. Holy shnikes, are you kidding me?
Yep. It's brutal.
Okay, next one. Abrams, 0 targets in second half. You mentioned it
Yep.
earlier. Agreed. Second half possessions, punt, punt, INT, loss of down, loss of down.
God, we only had 5 possessions in the entire second half.
Yes, sir. So there's
Wow.
that.
That's crazy.
Okay. Um, guess what? We are no longer bowl eligible this season.
Yep.
No longer bowl eligible. What the hell? Okay.
Yep.
This loss at Ole Miss, okay, fourth losing season in 5 years. It's our 19th consecutive loss away from home against a ranked opponent.
Wow. That is a depressing stat.
Unfortunately, I hated pulling it, but yes. Yes. And then, of course, this is Kiffin's first win against the Gators as a head coach after losing in 09 with Tennessee, losing in 20, and losing in 24 with the Rebels. Of course, we previously won 3 against Ole Miss. So that was what it was. The gate, and you're not going to like this one either, B, so I'm sorry, but Florida will finish winless away from the swamp this season, losing all
Yep.
6 of our games outside of the swamp. Okay. This is the first Florida team not to win any away from home since the winless 1979 team that finished 0-10-1.
Wow. That's wild. I did not know that stat. That's crazy.
I'll leave it there.
Ooh, that is wild. That is wild that a team this talented. Now, granted, it was a hard schedule, but
Yes.
I mean, that doesn't excuse it, obviously.
No.
Um, I mean, you couldn't beat Kentucky for crying out loud. I mean, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. That is crazy. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. That is wild. Wild.
Yeah, head
Man,
scratcher, I know.
head scratcher and vomit starter. That is rough.
Yes.
That is rough. Okay, moving along. Oh, okay. Thanks for
I know. I know.
thanks
Sorry about
thanks
that
for
one.
that one, buddy. That's gonna make me that's gonna give me nightmares tonight. Okay. Hatchlings recruiting.
Not the kind of stats I like digging for. Just saying.
No, no, but I mean, good job finding them. They are relevant,
Yeah.
they are accurate, and that's it's an important piece, whether we like it or not. All
Right.
right, recruiting, not good news here either. Nothing definitive yet, but man, we're getting some bad news on the flip trail. CJ Brana, looking like an OSU flip as an Ohio State. We got a Fong bomb. If you're familiar with Steve Wiltfong, he's given a 60% prediction that he is going to flip to OSU. And TJ Ford is getting a lot of chatter that he is going to flip as well, the edge rusher out of, I want to say he's from Texas or Oklahoma, somewhere out west.
Think tech.
Yeah, I think Texas, yeah. So looking like he may flip as well. Again, if some of these guys hold on until a coach is announced, that might change that. I don't know that they're going to though, because again, we don't know when that's coming. So we'll just have to wait and see. But again, it's gonna go down, and not much we can do but just hold on and hope for some coaching news sooner than later. That's really all that's going to potentially do anything to this, because in
Yeah.
the meantime, these guys are just going to go. Like, they're just going to go, and it just is what it is. It is what it is, and I'm not even mad at it. Like, I get it. I get it. A lot of uncertainty right now here, a lot of losing here. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. So, anything else from you on that?
No, I had the similar two call-outs than you, and other than that, On Three has us the absolute same for the fifth week in a row. So there you
Yep.
go.
Yep. Continues to just be the same because nobody's actually flipped yet. But again, it's
Right.
coming. So, all right. Moving on to Pride of the Sunshine. Let you start this one off. What do you got?
Yeah, so for me, I think the main thing in this game is trying to figure out what this game meant. Okay. And yeah, a win would have kind of perpetuated. Oh, hey, we got a shot at a bowl game. We got 2 games left after this. If we weren't able to squeak it out with a win, but I think the main thing for me was because Kentucky was so bad. Lack of effort. We had a lot of people out there calling the Q word, calling it quit, whatever the case might be.
Mm-hmm.
For me, at least it was good to see this kind of a get back, this kind of a bounce back. Yeah, we still took the L, but it was a big bounce back in terms of momentum. Can we finish the last 2 games of the season with this type of momentum? Can we have some competency? Can we have some competitive fight in us to finish the season? And the last thing I'll say is the way that DJ Lagway went to the bench at the end of the game. Again, I'm just speaking from my perspective. I can't remember the last time I saw that much emotion come out of the kid. I just can't. Okay.
Yeah.
And clearly it was emotion on the negative side. And again, I've said a lot of things about him over the past couple weeks. And to clarify, again, is it the injury? Is it uninjury? Is it multiple injuries? Is it between the ears? Is it the head? Is it the fact that B, you had a great call out? Is the fact that the kid just doesn't know how to handle losing because he's
Yeah.
doing a lot of losing lately. And I saw a lot of that emotion culminate on the sideline. And the good news about that, not that I'm saying he did not care, but that shows me that there is a more visceral emotional tie to try and right or to try and fix this ship that is clearly taking on a lot of water.
Yeah, for
So
sure. And the other thing about that is when you express emotion, right, of any kind, it can be cathartic, right? Um,
yeah,
Getting it out, not holding it in, right? So it, whatever it may be, positive or negative, right, in that expression of it, can often be a cathartic thing, right? As I said. So I do think that it's not necessarily a bad thing to see that. Now we'll see how it manifests. We don't know. But again, I also think to your point that this was one of his better, if not best games, honestly, from a standpoint of throwing the football, right?
yes,
He's had better stat games, but his actual overall accuracy, decision making, throwing, footwork, running, like really, my argument would be was his best game. Honestly, I really think it was. Um, against a good team, which matters, right? So to me, I'll take that in spades, especially if it's something that he can build off and continue to grow from and work out here in these last couple, going back home to the swamp. So
bingo.
from a culture standpoint, I really had concerns on the effort we would see this week. I really did coming off that Kentucky. I didn't know where it was going to come from. Yes, it was a bigger game, but it concerned me obviously, and it was not an issue at all, which is great. It was terrific out there, right? Hard fought from start to finish. Even at the end when it was over, they were still fighting out there. Good body language for the most part on the sidelines, as you mentioned, until the end when you would expect it to not be, and that's okay. You're allowed to be upset and disenfranchised at the end when you've lost. That's all right, right? As we
Yeah,
talked about. But now that we have lost bowl eligibility, the challenge gets even tougher, as you mentioned, right? What do the coaches do now to keep the players engaged? We
hmm,
as fans, right? It's easy to see this as fans, right? We see and want to see good effort and energy for a pair of home games, rivalry games in the swamp, right? Coming back home. But do the players care? Their season is over. It is over as terms of what they're playing for, right? They are playing for nothing. They are playing for 2 more games in the swamp, and that is it. That is all they have. So that is literally it. So do they have any motivation that it's rivalry games against Tennessee and Florida State. Does that mean anything to that? I hope so. I hope so. But I think if you look at it, these are 20-year-old kids who may not even be Gators next year. Sorry to say, right? I'm saying 20-year-old. Obviously, the age varies a little, but that's approximate.
Sure.
Why do they care? Why do they care? Right? We care about those rivalries. Do they? The staff tries to make them for sure. They try to emphasize the importance. So I hope so. But I don't think they care about them like we care about them. I'll tell you that. I don't think so.
Yep.
And this is where the culture that Napier did build is gonna show up and show out if it's really gonna hold.
There you go.
Because this is where they got to go out and play for each other, right? Graham had a comment about having 12 games with his brothers. He's got 2 left. If he meant that and that was real and that's a feeling that this team feels together, then we're going to be okay, despite the Kentucky thing and whatever happened there. Call it a letdown from Georgia, whatever. These last 2 should be all right if that's how they're going to feel and play about it. I don't know if that happens, though. We'll see. All right, moving on. Officiating. Move back, you suck. Decent officials. Yes, I said it, despite a couple of really bad calls. Decent officials in this game. As I commented to you as we were watching, aside from, of
Yep.
course, those couple of key calls, there were some small things. You called out a couple of offsides that they could have flagged and didn't, right? A couple other little things. Nothing egregious is what I would say, other than there were 2 big screw ups in this game. The first was against us and in favor of us, right? It was flagged on us, but it hurt Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And that, of course, was the hands to the face personal foul on Gums. And the official on the broadcast, I don't know who it was. I don't think it was Pereira. I don't remember who it was. I apologize. Stated that the play is dead when the ball hits the net on a field goal. I can go ahead and tell you that's not the rule. I looked it up. Not all stadiums have nets, so that's a silly thing to say. Sorry, but it is. So the rule, NCAA Rule 4-1-3, states that when the official makes a ruling on the kick, either good or not good, and the ball is out of play. So if it's good, obviously it's out of play because it has to be. If it's not good, meaning that it is past the crossbar and or the uprights, right? One way or another. So it is therefore out of play. So somebody can't catch it and return it as a live ball if it was short, right? So thus the out of play piece. At that point, the ball is dead. So when the official makes the ruling on the status of said field goal kick, which of course had not happened until the ball hit the net. So he's not wrong in terms of timing, but it's not because the ball hit the net. It's because the officials made their ruling on whether or not it was good or not good, just to be clear. Obviously, as we watch the replay of that, Gums hit him before the kick was even through the uprights. So clearly that foul occurred during the course of play when the ball was still live. It was not a dead ball foul. Should have been first and goal, Ole Miss. They should have gotten another possession. Lane had every right to be upset. And as he said, the officials admitted they were wrong, and they were. So that was correct. That was the wrong call, and they should have gotten that one right. The second one, of course, was even more wrong, more clearly wrong. And we don't have an explanation for that one. I wish we would get one. And perhaps it was even harder to understand, quite frankly. And this, of course, is the pass interference on Baugh near the end of the game that we're referring to, where the Ole Miss player not only did not make a play on the ball, he just straight tackled him, which is in itself a blatant violation if he didn't have the ball yet, because he wasn't even trying to hit the ball. But then on top of it, he's about a second early. That could be seen in real time that he was early, much less when you got it on slow-mo and can see that the ball is about 4 yards from being there when he gets contacted first. How this gets flagged. So the thing that's crazy to me about this is it didn't just not get flagged, it got flagged. Then there's a conference, and they pick the flag up and say there's no penalty. I got nothing for you. I really don't. It's stuff like this, as it's been commented many different places, that makes officiating just flat out look rigged. I'm not saying it is, but it gives the appearance of it when you see stuff like this. Somebody throws the flag because it's clearly a penalty, and then the ref comes over and says, "Oh, no, 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 we can't call that, buddy. We got to pick that one up." I mean, that's what it looks like. I'm not saying that's what happened, but what else would you call it? Because it was a clear as day violation. So I don't know. That's all I got. What do you got for officiating?
Nope, well said. Hands to the face by Gums, offset by picking up the flag for DPI.
Yeah,
That's
is
it.
that what it is? Is it just a makeup call? Is that what we're
If
doing? I mean,
if I had to guess, the referee, the head referee in this game, Matt Loeffler, Matt's a long-term SEC official, and if I had to put money on it, not that anyone does. Oh yeah, sports betting, big thing, big business.
yeah.
Yeah, it was basically, hey, what did you have there? DPI? Really? Was it that egregious? No. Remember what happened in the first half? Got to offset that, right? Okay, yep, pick it up, fine, nothing there.
I mean, except it was that egregious. So I mean, there's that.
It definitely was not an equal play. That is correct. Because when you look at the hands to the face, that's assessed on either we're going to re-kick, send that back. Actually, no, I apologize. On the kickoff. So that
Right.
was it.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. Outside of that, fairly decent game.
Yeah.
B minus.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how you grade it when you factor those two in, though. It's rough. I mean, again, it's just as we've talked about. I feel it is worth mentioning. We're not blaming the refs for costing us the game.
No.
We don't ever do that. It's opportunities that are taken away, right? On either side. Again, Ole Miss as well, right? These are opportunities that are cost by poor officiating, and we just don't like seeing it. And we know it's a part of the game, but we don't like seeing it, and we evaluate it and we call it out. And that's just a part of what we do. We made it a part of this pod from the beginning, and we'll continue to do so. So there you go. All right. Anything else on officiating?
That's it, my man. Fairly cut and dry because total penalties for both teams were at 9. So there you go.
Yeah, no, it was. It was a pretty soft and pretty clean game, really, as far as it
Yes.
was played as well, not only as how it was
Yes.
officiated. All right, wrapping this thing up. Closing thoughts. Tell me what you got. Where do we go from here, man?
Where do we go from here? So this is what's tough, right? The bipolar kids, the cardiac kids, the
No, the
lackluster.
cardiac kids is that basketball team. Don't even get me started.
Fair point. It's really tough, right? We can't seem to win a close game. We can't seem to have the killer instinct for that one possession game, two possession game, stacking plays. We are allergic to the term momentum. All
Yes.
these things come to mind, right? Billy Gonzalez, 0-3 at the helm now. We are 3-7. We're 3-7.
Yeah, man,
Two
that's
and five in
depressing.
conference play. Holy smokes! I agree with what you said earlier in Pride of the Sunshine. Well said. Culture is an interesting word because if it's one thing I think that we could use as an identity word for this roster is culture. And so, just like I gave the theme last week as lost, the theme I would give it this week is bounce back. So, can we use this week to build upon the rivalry games? Because to your point, B, and you're not wrong. I mean, the season is over. There is no bowl game. It's not like we're going to go to the secondary NIT. It's that's not how this works. So,
Yeah,
what do we play for? What are we playing
yeah,
for? Again, I know it seems cliche, but I'm gonna go back to what Billy G said. You play for the patch, you represent the name. And the only thing that I hope is that these players can stay together the same way we had juniors and redshirt juniors at the end of last season say, I'm going to stay, I'm going to run it back, I'm going to play again, have another season with my brothers, have another season to make a run, have another season to do this. The only thing I can hope is that we have more of that happen at the end of this year. For the record, do I think it will happen? Unfortunately, my hopes are low on that. But at the end of the day, that's what's really going to test this culture to see what happens. with these guys, especially the sophomores, the redshirt sophomores, and the juniors, especially with a lot of them with the draft stock being down. Because arguably, I can say Caleb Banks, obviously, he's been hurt, hasn't played.
Yeah, he
Tyreek
might come.
Sapp,
He might come back this week though, which is very interesting if he
it's very
does.
interesting. Tyreek Sapp, he's been healthy this year, but almost a non-factor. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's my disappointing player of the whole
yeah,
team.
yeah, you're not kidding. Trust me, I know I've picked the most disappointing player the past 3 seasons in a row. I get it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
Whoever you pick next year, I'm gonna tell you to change it.
exactly, exactly. So either way,
You can pick a bench guy next year, dude.
you know what? Fair, fair. I'm gonna pick a graduate. Uh, yeah,
Preferred. You get a PWO next year. Preferred walk-ons only for you.
it's either that or I'm gonna go with Nigel Portjangan. I'm just gonna go right now. Portjangan.
Portagen. It's Nigel Portagen.
Portagen. Thank you.
Noel Portagen, actually.
Noel, thank you. He's my guy in 26. Just saying.
Love it.
No.
Yes, yes. You can have Noel. I love it.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I just don't know where we go from here, B. I just hope we're competitive in the last 2 games. I hope the product on the field is good. I hope we play with pride, period.
Yeah, I think pride is a good one, right? You can play for pride, and hey, maybe we could even play for some fun. It's a thought.
Hey,
You go out there and have some fun. That's an idea too. Maybe that's something the coaches could pitch. It would help if they had some more fun plays to call, but that's neither here nor there. Moving on. All right.
hey, we tried a flea flicker.
We did try a flea flicker. We did. It did not work at all and fooled no one. Our trick plays, the trick plays in that book are the worst trick plays. At least I will at least say that one wasn't so fundamentally flawed that we couldn't get the throw off, but it didn't work at all. So anyway, whatever. It's typical. All right, I mentioned it in Pride. You did as well. But again, where do we go from here, right? Can a team continue to have can it continue to have the have to? Can it continue to have the want to? I don't know, right? Again, as I mentioned, looks like Banks could come back this week. VB3 should be back this week. I can't believe he didn't play last week. I was shocked. I don't know what happened there. How does he play at Kentucky and not this week? I don't know. I don't know what happened. Injuries on this team make me crazy. And I don't know that Banks is going to come back this week, but maybe he does, and that could be a spark, right? Can that help? Especially when you're playing a rival, right? Does that help, get some people up and running? Along with coming back to the swamp after not having been there in a month. Don't let that get lost on anybody. We have not been home in a month since Mississippi
Yep.
State for homecoming. We have not played a game there. 4 weeks, long time.
It will be quite the homecoming.
Yeah, yeah. If you could have homecoming this late in the year, this would have been it. Obviously, it's a crazy stretch of games there with the bye, and then Georgia, and then Kentucky, and then Ole Miss. So, we can hope, right? But at this point, it's a wait and see thing, as we often say, and nothing more we can do. So, with that, let's move it on. Keep it or pitch it. I have great news. I have great news. I went 3-0, first time all season. I'm pretty sure. I have to look, but I think it's the first time all season that I went 3-0. So, hey, I finally did it. You were 1-2 because we did
Yep.
flip on the ones that we were opposite on, and both got the first one right, which was that Ole Miss ranks 7th in the nation in passing offense at 305.5 passing yards per game. They hit that number almost exactly. The Gators ranked 61st in passing yards allowed at 214.4. That was then. Now they're higher. Gators will hold Ole Miss and Chambliss to 260 passing or under. Well, I'm sorry. We both pitched that one. We both got it right because, 301. Ole Miss ranks 24th in the nation, converting 47.4 of their third downs. Gators ranked 102nd in the nation in third down defense, giving up 42.4%. We said they would hold them under 40. Somehow I kept that, and we did it. And you pitched it 37.5%. I don't know how. I think it's because we gave them 78% of their fourth downs instead, or 85% or whatever it
There
was,
you go.
5 for 7. So that's why, I guess. But yeah, there you go. So yeah. And last but not least, Gator defense has forced 14 turnovers through 9 games this season. We will beat our average of 1.55 on Saturday and force Ole Miss to turn the ball over at least twice. I pitched it, you kept it, and thanks to that bad luck and us not recovering that fumble, I got you. Hey, man, if it comes down to bad luck or good luck, I'll always get the bad. So there you go. All
There
right.
you go.
Tennessee ranks 40. Oh, excuse me. Moving on to Tennessee here. First one, Tennessee ranks 43rd in the nation for rushing yards. This game, for many, 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 many years, whatever team rushed the ball better or for more yards won the game. This was like a deciding factor for like 20 straight games or something like that in this rivalry. So we figured it was appropriate to put this in. So they rush currently for 176.7, number 43 in the nation, probably actually lower than Heupel wants to be, believe it or not. He loves to run the ball. Florida is 57th in the nation, holding teams to 143.2 rushing yards per game. The Gators will hold Tennessee to under 150 yards rushing. Keep it or pitch it. This was a problem last year. Will we do better? And the question mark is, does Banks play? Because if Banks plays, I got him under this number, but I don't know if he does or not. So keep it or pitch it for you. What do you think?
Well, and that's the problem. Is Banks going to play? Is he not going to play?
Yeah.
Regardless of the fact, look at what we just came off of as far as allowing yards. I've got to pitch it, B. I got to pitch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pitch it as well. I do think we're very close on this number. I'm pitching it also. If Banks plays though, I keep it. Like the way I will say Ron Roberts has done a really good job against this team in how we've schemed this and how we have stopped their run. Now they did kind of get us last year with it, but I think we'll do a better job this year, especially with how our linebackers are playing because they're so critical to playing that kind of five-man front that we play against them. And I think we can hold them this year, but if Banks plays, we really can hold them this year. So we'll see what happens. All right. UF ranks 69th in the nation in time of possession at 29 minutes per game. The Volunteers rank 130th in time of possession due to their hurry up offense and explosive plays at 25 minutes per game. Very similar to last week, right, with Ole Miss. But this week, the Gators will control the game and possess the ball for at least 34 minutes. So technically still less. That would give 26 to Ole Miss, so still higher than their average, but obviously much less than what we have been averaging. Keep it or pitch it.
I think this is going to be a get back game, like you said. First time in the swamp in over a month. It's going to be a homecoming, literally, right? Not just the event for school. Um, I like what's going to happen here. Hopefully, we see pride show up. Hopefully, we see the culture show up, and I'm going to keep it B.
I like it. So I'm going to pitch it, but not because of why you might think. I think we play well. I think we can win this game. I think we very well do win this game, but and we may not obviously, but like the reason I'm pitching is because I think we get some more explosives than we have been. I think we're trending more in that direction. And I think that helps lower our TOP, but I also think we limit theirs. And even though they run the hurry up, we get them to we slow them down a little bit because we do limit their explosives. They don't get as much opportunity to hurry up. And even though they sustain some drives, they have to possess it longer. And so they actually have a little higher TOP, even though they don't win. So in this case, I think their higher TOP is a bad thing for them, is I guess what I'm trying to say. So,
Gotcha.
all right. Last but not least, Tennessee ranks number two. Number two. Ole Miss was number 13, number two in scoring in the nation at 43.4 points per game. The Gators ranked tied for 62nd. We were in the 30s a couple of weeks ago, tied for 62nd at 23.6 points per game. We will limit Tennessee's scoring prowess on Saturday in the swamp, holding them under 28 points. Keep it or pitch it.
I am going to keep it. It's in the swamp. I think the
Yes,
crowd's going to
sir.
be rowdy, and I like our chances. It more than likely is going to be a very close game. It's going to come down to probably the last 4 minutes, 3, 4 minutes in the fourth quarter. Can we execute? Can we really bring it home? I'm going to keep it though.
Yep, I'm with you. I'm keeping it as well.
Okay.
We have, again, I think Roberts has been solid in his scheme and the play against this. The only thing that worries me here is that Aguilar has been pretty good throwing the ball deep, and with some of the coverage liabilities we have had down there, that does concern me. So we have got to get that cleaned up. But I think this is a game where Cormani and Devin can be more effective because of the way that they kind of run that, right? A lot of goes and stuff like that. I think we can actually be better with some of the coverage concepts that we have. And I think we actually match up better than we have against a lot of these other teams in the way we get to play them. Like we can play a little more straight up kind of matchup zone slash man in this game. And I think that's actually to our advantage in the kind of personnel that we do have available, right? Versus a lot of the stuff that we've been having to do with all of this zone, which in fairness, we didn't have to play quite as much zone as we had. But ultimately, I think it's a better matchup. The question is, what do you do with the guys in the slot and Denson, and how do you match up with them and the safety help over the top, and what do you do there? That's where the question marks start to come from. So we'll see what happens, but if we can limit those big explosive passes and bottle up the run a little bit, I think, which both of which I think we can. I mean, that's going to be pretty much what decides the game. That and can we be effective on offense? But Tennessee's defense is not what it was last year, not by a long shot. So we can score on them. So can we score enough? I don't know. We'll see. Depends on what kind of play call we look at. So, moving on.
Uh-uh.
Sims, I had to travel this week for work, so was not able to get the Sims done. A little bit of a time mess up on my part yesterday for allotting for that, so apologies. I will do my best to get them run before the game on Saturday and share results on next week's pod. Um, so hopefully I will be able to at least give, those for posterity, if nothing else. Obviously, they haven't been top top shelf this year. I couldn't even give a key stat for last week, so nab that to see if it was accurate or not anyway. So I will run them. We'll hopefully have something to take away to share, in the rear view mirror for this game, but I don't have it for the front, so apologies there. So with that, I think that should pretty much wrap us up here. Any closing thoughts before we sign off?
No, I think the interesting thing about where we are right now, again, I don't think it's not. I don't think I have a strong feeling that we never thought coming down to the close of this season that here we are staring down this
No,
barrel of 3-7. Period.
no way, no way,
Period.
not a chance.
So I agree with you. What are we playing for? What are they playing for? Why are they playing? Play for each other, play for what could have been. But at the end of the day, you got to finish strong. Because if some of these guys are thinking about going to the draft, they want their last two games to be absolute exclamation points on their draft stock.
Yeah,
So,
agreed. That's right.
and that's
That's right.
nothing, you know. Outside of that, whatever's going to happen with this coaching staff, whatever's going to happen with moving forward, I am hopeful to think that there are pieces right now on this team. If they can be retained, we can win. We can win. We can win in 26. I'll stay on that train. Not necessarily the Lane train. If he is, come great. But I'm staying on the fact that there are pieces here we can win with. I firmly believe that based off the film, based off the numbers, and not just my own opinion. Let's hope we can take some of that momentum that we have, take some of that skill and talent that we have, and move forward to 26 and beyond.
Yeah, I like it. No, I think those are valid points. And I agree with you on the talent. Yeah, the talent alone would have indicated that we couldn't have been 3-7. Like it shouldn't have been possible. To your point, obviously it is possible, but the talent on this roster should have precluded that from being a thing. I mean, I thought 6 wins was a floor just with
Yeah.
the talent alone. But the talent hasn't produced. We have had a lot of injuries, obviously, and the talent that has been able to play has not lived up to par in a lot of examples, mostly at the quarterback position, unfortunately. And in fairness, there may have been some injuries there too that were played through. We're not sure, right? We don't really know. So I think it's better now from a health standpoint, but first half of the season, I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm not sure, right? There's some kind of injury, mental, physical, both. I don't know, but
Yeah.
there was stuff going on there because stuff was not right. It looks better now, Maybe not all the way better, but it looks better. So we'll see. Where we go from here, I think 26 has potential, but it is coach dependent, man. It is coach dependent,
Sure.
as most things are. But and that's not to say it's lane dependent, but it's coach dependent. It has to be a good hire. It is what it is. So time will tell, and we'll see where we go. But for now, Tennessee is the mission,
Yep.
and I hope we can complete the mission because 2003. I don't want more negative stats, man. 2003, last time they beat us at home, man.
Sure.
I don't want another domino to fall. Let's hold it. Let's hold it. Come on, Gators. Let's do it, man.
Yes.
All right, sign us off, buddy.
All right. Outside of that, of course, we've got our next pod. It's going to be our instant reaction, rapid reaction Saturday after the Gators face Tennessee
Yeah.
on the
Another
25th.
another midnight reaction. Good grief, all these late
Yep.
games, man.
Exactly. Exactly. We'll be sure to come into as early as we can, but of course, right after the game. Then Monday, the 27th, our regular pod, the breakdown of Florida versus Tennessee. So, wherever you are, whenever you may be listening, thank you for taking the time, and we will see you around Gator Nation.